Hello guys, we have a lot to do today, so first of all, startup. So in today's video, we actually have a lot to do. We have to go take the Q60 to the Infiniti dealership so it can get checked out. Number two, we have to go to the tag office because the temporary tag for the Q60 is expiring in about a couple of days, and I wanted to do it last week, but we had to go to Clearwater, so we had to do it this week. And then the third thing is talk to you a little bit about the BMW. So yeah. So the problem I have with the Q60 is that three things. Number one is that when I'm in high speeds, like let's say 70, 80, the car would feel weird. When I say weird, it would kind of steer itself a little bit to the right, so it makes it a little bit hard to control at high speeds. And I'm very sure that's not because the tire's spinning, because I don't really put that much throttle input to make it spin that much. And I'm very sure with the tires that I have, it can't be spinning at 70, 80 miles an hour. So we have to go get that checked out. Number two is when I pull down the driver's side window here, there would be a subtle rattle coming from inside of the door panel. I don't know what it is, but it's annoying enough that you don't have to really look for it, that you can hear it. And the third thing is, ever since I got the car, every time I don't drive the car for a few days, like let's say 3 days, because as you already know, I don't drive this car every day. So I daily the Beamer mostly, and I use this car maybe once or two times a week. And then every time I would turn it on, the rear passenger tires would show up low on pressure. And it's kind of weird because it always comes up at about 28 or 30 psi, and it never goes lower than that. It just goes from its recommended pressure to 28 to 30, and it's kind of annoying because I wanted to see if it had like any nails or punctures or anything in the tires, but I didn't see anything. So I think it's a tire pressure sensor going off. So we're gonna go get that fixed at Infiniti, and I wanted to make sure that nothing's wrong. So that's why we're visiting the dealership. So stay tuned. It's kind of funny because I made the appointment for service at 12 o'clock, and it's almost 1. So as you can see, the rear passenger side over there is 36. Last night I filled it up to about 40, and it went back down to 36. And it's not bad enough that after leaving it overnight that the tire pressure would go back to 28. It's just that after a few days of not driving it, that's what it would always do. So I hope it's not. So basically, you don't need to test drive this. You just have to pull down the window here several times, and then you hear like a subtle rattle from the inside. It's like comes and goes, so you have to try several times.
Okay.
And then I just want you to check the alignment on the right tires, make sure all the alignment's right and everything, because when I drive, because if it's like 70 or 80 miles an hour, car kind of steers a little bit towards the right a little bit.
Okay.
So, and then the back tires right here. So the back tires, so I drive this car like every 3 days, and then I switch over to that one, and then every time I cold start it, it always shows that the pressure is low, but it never drops down to like like below 20 or anything. It's just like up 28. So could you check to see if
Make
any,
sure there's nothing in
yeah,
the tire.
like when they mounted it,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh yes, sir. Yeah, wait.
No, you can just go there, and then you hear it.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so I dropped off the Q60 and we're now gonna go to the tag office because I need to get new tags for the Q60. But the technician, as you already seen earlier, went to look over the rattle here at the door panel, and and the annoying thing is the rattle decided to go away just as I brought it to the dealership. But it's not that really big of a big deal now because the sound isn't, because the rattle isn't really messing with the motor, with the motors, with the power windows, or it's not loud enough for me to be constantly annoyed by it. So if it gets worse, then I'll bring it back. But now the checking for the alignment and then checking for, you know, the rear passenger tire, see what's wrong with it. But I'm pretty sure it's a sensor issue, or it's like a mounting issue or something. But you know, we gotta go do tag. Alright, so I'm gonna give you guys an update. Today hasn't been really a good day for me because you saw that I tried to get my tag, but for some stupid reason I forgot to bring the tag that was assigned, that was supposed to be for the Q60 to the tag office, so I couldn't do that. And then since it was kind of distance away from where I lived, and I didn't really want to deal with the traffic, so we have to get the tag some other time when. But that expiration tag over there, the temporary tag over there, it expires on March 16th. So probably by the time you're watching this video, I'd already put the regular temporary tag, or I probably already put the the new temporary tag for the prestige tag, if that makes sense. So I couldn't do that, and then later I was I was trying to figure out when exactly what is my Q60 gonna be done. So I took the Q60 in today to the service at the dealership at about 12:30 or 12:45, somewhere around that time. And fast forward to about 5 o'clock, I'll go over to the dealership, and then it turns out that they haven't even looked at the car. And I told my service advisor, how long does it take to check for alignment and check for the tires? Because as you saw earlier, they couldn't replicate the cranking sound at the door panel when you pull down the windows. So I told them it's okay, I'll take care of that next time. But I couldn't believe it took them over four and a half hours to look over the tires, and then they didn't even look at it at that time. So they told me that they were busy, and I told them, of course I'm busy too, because you know I have a full schedule and this is my only day off. So I kind of appreciated that you do take the time to look at my car, because after I told them how I wasn't satisfied with the service that he was giving me and how disrespectful he was of the fact that he kept asking me how old I was, I go I go back home for about 15-20 minutes, and then after then he told me that the car was ready to get picked up. So point of the story, I wasted 4 hours and a half not doing anything, and it turns out I was right. There were some alignment issues, and then there was a puncture on my rear passenger tire that I didn't know about, because when I tried to look at if there was any puncture or not, I couldn't see anything. So it must be really something so small that it couldn't deflate the tires all the way. But either way, 4.5 hours, and where I could have spent I could have spent that time making content with the Q60, because today is the day that I make my content, and you know, time is valuable. Time is very valuable, even more valuable than money to me at this point. So I show you. All right, so as you can see here, I told you that when I go fast in the Q60, the car kind of steers towards the right a little bit, and it turns out that the right front tires was the one that was misaligned. So that fixed it. So that fixed that one, and then there was a nail puncture in my rear passenger side, which has to be minuscule enough that I couldn't even look at it even with my flashlight. And as far as the door panel is concerned, it's not really that much of an issue for me because it doesn't bother me mechanically and it doesn't bother me audibly. So next time this happens, I'm just gonna try to record it and try to show them what the sound is like, because I couldn't replicate it at this time. And ironically, these kind of things never happen at the dealership when you're trying to prove it to them. So basically, the BMW also has issues that needs to be taken care of. So long story short, I was at work and my coworker tells me that the front disc, the rotors on my 440 doesn't look right, that I should get it checked out, because he asked me if I feel any vibrations when I'm braking, basically warped rotors symptoms. But I don't really feel anything. I just feel that the brakes doesn't really bite as much as they used to. But I contribute that to the fact that I upgraded 1 inch higher, 1 inch bigger wheels than I did when it came stock. So from 18 to 19, the fact that there's a little bit of weight difference, and the fact that it's not biting as hard is why I thought that would be no problem. But just for safety wise, I'm just gonna go over there and check it out. Here, I'll show you. I'll give you a look at how it looks. I don't know if you can see that clearly or not, but apparently my friend says here my discs doesn't look right in the front. But from reading the forums, I know that there's sensors here so that if the brake pads are a little bit thin or the discs are a little bit thin, that the engine light would come off, as far as I know. So I don't know, don't quote me exactly, but that's just what I read. And I just found out that the M decals here came off. I don't know how they came off, so maybe it's just when I was pressure washing it. But this is the disc on the left side, the front left side, and this is the disc on the front right side. I don't know though. They look pretty normal to me, and when I brake, I don't really feel any vibration or anything out of the ordinary. I don't hear any grinding noise when I brake. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it to the dealership next week, and we'll see how that goes. I hope you guys like this video, and if it's your first time visiting the channel, my name is Ken, and this is my 440i, and that's my Q60 Red Sport. And I have a lot of things to do for the channel, and I need to make a new video trailer for the channel since the Stinger's not here anymore with us. And basically, subscribe to this channel if you're a car enthusiast, because I like cars, I like traveling, and if you like cars and if you like traveling, you should definitely subscribe to the channel, because we're gonna see a lot of awesome views as time goes on. And see you on the next video. Bye bye.